I know you've told this story a million times, but the slippery when wet story you got to tell on our podcast. There's got to be people out there that haven't heard it before, but I've heard it. It's so great. Like that. Here it is. Here.
The two different.
Oh
covers.
yeah.
The two different covers and how this came to be.
Yeah, there's actually 3 different covers, really. I mean, or really 4 and 5, which is in my book, The Decade That Rocked. I really go into detail, but I'll quickly go through it. So it was first, the album was going to be called Wanted Dead or Alive because of the song. Yeah. And the idea was to have them grow beards and wear Billy the Kid hats and look like little gangsters, or like a gang. And I would shoot them and make a Wanted poster, and like that would be it. And so each one came into my studio all different times, and I shot them, and then I made this this 12-inch by 12-inch poster, and I put Wanted in, and I burnt it and took a photo, and that was it. And then they decided to change the name. Actually, before that, we did that part of it, and then they said, well, we really want to have the band looking good, not like, goofy, like that. Yeah. So we came up with an idea they were recording in Vancouver. They flew me out there. I found an old, like, abandoned warehouse somewhere. And the idea now was to have the band looking kind of cool, rock cool, and have this poster that I made in the background, Wanted, and they were like in this, warehouse or this area where they were hiding out. And that was the photo, that was, again, still with the title Wanted.
Right.
And that's when they just decided not to use the title for whatever reason. And that's when we got inspired by the Number 5 Club in Vancouver, where the strippers would be going through the plexiglass. Yeah. And there were so many slippery when wet signs all around Vancouver because there was all hilly and everything. And I don't know if it was Doc or John or Richie, or it might have been Doc, that let's call it slippery when wet.
Yeah.
And when they told me that, I was happy. Yeah. Because there's more work for me and more stuff to do, and girls were involved now. Yeah. Instead of guys with beards growing. And so when they finished mixing, we went back to New Jersey, and we did a photo shoot across from John's apartment down the Jersey Shore. Yeah. And we got all their cars and motorcycles together, and all the guys' girlfriends, and then we did a photo shoot for this, to play off of Slippery When Wet. We got these T-shirts that says Slippery When Wet on it, and we just did a photo shoot. We didn't have any idea for an album cover. We didn't know if that was going to be the album cover. It was just a photo shoot, and then the shot was looking good, but all their girlfriends didn't have like large breasts.
How did you communicate that to them? Ladies.
And they were pretty, they were hot and everything, but the shirts, they weren't filled out, So I said to my friend Danny Sanchez, who was helping me out on the shoot, and I said, can you go to the beach and just find me some girl with big breasts?
No problem.
And Tico, the drummer, goes, I'll help you, Danny.
Yeah.
And they
now we figured out what Bert does around here. Bert, that's your new job.
I like that job.
And they came back with Angela, who ended up being dead center on that shot, which ended up being the back cover of the one that they printed. And then John said, let's take Angela in my studio and just shoot her with a short.
How are we giggling there? And he said, draw blood.
I got a plexiglass, like the Number 5 Club. That's what they did. They went in these showers and they wear T-shirts, and they hose them down with the shower, and of course things start popping out. And so we did that with Angela, but this time we didn't have a shower, so we had ice, and that helped things out. And I only had to shoot a couple frames, but I ended up shooting like 10 rolls of film.
I just couldn't quit. I don't know why.
I don't think I got it yet.
This damn camera won't work.
So that was it. I turned it in. We had a concept. They printed, a couple 100,000 copies, and it was a done deal until John saw the cover, and they put a pink border around it. All right, and this is the. So this is my take on the whole thing, because there's different versions of it.
Yeah.
Like John's got a version, and but I kind of, both of our versions come together, and I've never really talked about it, but I think I figured it out. So what happened was, everyone signed off on the cover with the girl, and at that point, the PMRC was going on. I actually went to the PMRC with Dee Snider when he talked for freedom of speech, and we ended up getting a label, the warning labels and all that. So I went there with him. So that was going on at that time. And I think what happened, because what John says is that when he got the picture in Vancouver, when he was finishing the record, he got a Xerox of the photo and he approved it. It was a black and white fax. It took forever to come through, and it was black and white. So he approved it. They printed it, and he didn't see until after it was printed the pink border.
Right.
So I think what went through his head is like, we can't have this out there with the pink border. And the art director said, well, we did it because it matched the girl's nail polish, and that's why we did it.
Right. So
they could have just got rid of the pink border and made it blue, or didn't have a border.
Right.
So I think at that point I think he knew that the PMRC thing was happening, and they weren't putting sexual album covers out on the, out there.
Yeah, Walmart.
Yeah,
and stuff
they didn't want to be
that.
I think he took that opportunity to say, let's change this. Let's see, even though you printed it, I never approved the pink, so that was his thing. And then the record company said, okay, well, come up with something. We'll eat the 200,000 copies that we just printed.
Right.
And it was released in Japan, so there's copies floating around in Japan. Ooh. And then John said, do you got any ideas? I was like, not really, I kind of like.
How much time did they give you to correct this shit?
They had a few days to come up with something, or they would have had to use what they did. So then John just called me up a couple of days later and said, hey, I'm coming over. You get a black plastic bag, get a water bottle, and I have an idea. So we came over, and it was hanging up, and he just said, I put some oil in the water so it would drip down nice, and I just sprayed it on. He just spray it on it. I sprayed it, and then he just wrote "slippery when wet." Wrote it, and I took a photo, and he didn't even wait for the Polaroid. He just said, just send that to the record company. And I was like,
isn't that crazy?
And that was it.
Thank God he spelled it right. You get one shot.
So that's it in a non-nutshell.